In January, on a training range in Florida, 4 drones took off together. One of them led, the others followed. They found a column of tanks, they hit them, and the tanks came apart in a tidy row of pops. The tanks were inflatable, which was the entire point of the exercise. Nobody was hurt. That was the plan. It was the first time the American military had flown an armed group of drones like that over its own country, and the word in every write-up afterwards was swarm. Hold that word for a second. Hold it properly. Whatever picture just arrived behind your eyes, sky going dark, a noise like a wet motorway, a city that has run out of roof, that picture came from a film. The actual event had 4 drones in it. One of them was in charge, and the other machines did what it told them. This June, the same range in Florida hosted the sequel. The Pentagon's Chief Digital and AI Office ran a 5-day exercise called the Crucible. It sits at the center of a program with the least subtle name in modern defense procurement, SwarmForge. 133 companies asked to be there, 25 got in, and the guest list runs all the way from Lockheed Martin and Palantir down to firms whose entire website is a logo and a waiting list. If you want to know what an industry believes about itself, don't read what it announces. Read its entry form. Somewhere inside that program, a person had to write down the smallest thing you could do and still be allowed to call it a swarm. They had to turn that into a number and then put the number into a legal document where lying gets expensive.
The number is 4.
The exact phrasing is, a minimum of 4 UAS in operation at one time. Now be fair to them, because this is the part the internet always gets wrong. Minimum means floor. Nothing in that document stops a company turning up with 40 drones in a van, and a few of them could. Read it again. A floor is a measurement of the room it was built in. You do not set the bar at 4 if everybody standing in the queue can do 400. The same document asks for something else, and that one is the whole episode. The swarm has to keep working in, quote, denied, degraded, intermittent, or limited communication environments. They shorten that to DDIL. Say it out loud, DDIL. It is the noise a fridge makes when it is thinking about giving up. The Pentagon has a 4-letter acronym for the radio not working. It needs one, because the radio is not working. Ukraine is losing something like 10,000 drones a month, and the thing killing most of them is not a gun, it is noise. Somebody switches on a transmitter, the sky stops answering, and a very good pilot watches his screen fill with gray. So what does the most experienced drone force on Earth do about that? Right now, with all that software and all that money, it runs a wire. Take a length of fishing line and hold it between your hands. Now picture one thinner. That is the cable on a fiber optic attack drone, a spool of glass thread that unwinds behind the aircraft for 30, sometimes 40 kilometers, so nobody can jam a signal that never goes on the air. Both sides fly them. Whole tree lines along that front are draped in the stuff, glittering like tinsel after a party nobody enjoyed. The state-of-the-art in unjammable robotic warfare is a kite string. Let's do the arithmetic nobody does in the trailers, because the arithmetic decides everything that comes after it. Radio is not infinite. Radio is a room of fixed size, and every drone that wants to send you a picture has to stand somewhere inside it and shout. Take the cheap analog racing drones, the hobby kind Ukraine turned into an arms industry. They push their video out on the 5.8 gigahertz band. How many can fly in one field at the same time before every picture turns to snow? 8. And only if somebody spent the morning with a spectrum analyzer handing out channels like seats at a wedding. Fly a 9th, and you do not get a slightly worse picture. You get nothing. You get 2 blind pilots, and both of them find out at the same moment. That is not a software problem. You cannot patch it. Nobody can. It is not a bug. It is the size of the room. Every extra aircraft in your beautiful 100-drone swarm is another mouth in a small space, and video is the greedy one. Telling a drone where to go is cheap. Watching what it sees is expensive, and it stays expensive no matter who writes the code. So the next time somebody promises you 1 operator and 100 machines, ask the boring question. Ask it out loud. 100 machines sending what, exactly, and to whom? And here is where the field openly disagrees with itself. 2 researchers spent last year interviewing something like 100 specialists, military, industrial, and academic, hunting for a working drone swarm. They published the result in a defense journal read by precisely the people who sell these systems. Their finding was that there is no evidence of true drone swarming anywhere. Not yet at scale. Not still maturing. None. Anywhere. Including the demonstrations that keep getting called swarms in headlines. What everybody is building instead, they argued, is an old idea wearing new paint. Lots of machines doing a maneuver at the same time. A leader with followers is not a swarm. It is a formation. You kill a formation by killing one aircraft. One person commanding 100 drones is not a swarm either. That is a man holding an enormous remote control, and the remote control is the thing the enemy shoots at. You can watch the confusion happen live, in public, at night. Chinese cities now run light shows with thousands of drones drawing dragons over the river, launched from a lorry that unfolds itself like a vending machine. It is one of the loveliest things our species does after dark. It is also a playlist. Nothing is deciding. Those aircraft are flying to positions written down before anybody arrived, close to the launcher, and if a heron flew through the middle of the dragon would not notice. Meanwhile, the most successful drone operation in the history of drones was not a swarm at all. Last summer, Ukraine smuggled 117 quadcopters into Russia inside lorries, opened the roofs by remote, and flew them into strategic bombers parked on airfields thousands of kilometers apart.
18 months of planning. Drones, costing about $2,000 each. Aircraft that cannot be replaced because the factories that built them shut down, along with the Soviet Union.
And every single one of those drones had a person flying it, over Russian mobile networks, borrowing the enemy's own phone masts to pilot the machine that was about to burn the enemy's air force.
The most effective drone attack anyone has ever run was 117 human beings concentrating very hard.
Fine, so if the swarm in your head is not real, what would a real one actually look like? It looks like starlings. They have been doing it over your head for as long as there have been starlings. Stand outside at dusk in autumn. Somewhere they roost, and you will watch a flock turn itself inside out with no sound of command in it anywhere. 1,000 birds, no leader, no radio, changing direction faster than the birds on the far edge could possibly have been told to change. For years, the assumption was that each bird tracks everything within some radius around it. Then a group of physicists in Rome filmed flocks over a railway station, hundreds of shots of them, and reconstructed the birds properly. The answer was not a radius at all. It was a count. A starling watches a fixed number of neighbors, and that number turned out to be startlingly small. 7! 7! And the distance does not matter. If the flock spreads out, each bird keeps the same neighbors. If it squeezes tight, the same ones again, whoever they happen to be. Then, the modelers put a price on it, and the number stopped looking like a limitation. Tracking one more bird costs attention and imports somebody else's error. Around the 7th neighbor, the cost overtakes the benefit, and the sums stop improving. Cheap wins. A murmuration is not 7 birds worth of clever, it is 7 birds worth of cheap, which is why it has never needed a budget. That is the part the trailers get backwards. A flock like that is not astonishing because of how much the birds are saying to each other. It is astonishing because of how little they need to say. So build that! That is the answer, and every serious engineer in this field already knows it. Give each drone a short-range whisper to a handful of neighbors. No link home, no video, no stream going back to a tent. Local rules, local eyes, and nothing worth jamming, because there is nothing loud enough to find.
Look at what that does to the tent.
The link you just cut is the human, not a metaphor. Physically the same wire. The bandwidth that lets a swarm survive being jammed is the identical bandwidth that lets a person watch it, understand what it is doing, and say no.
And the requirements ask for both, in the same breath. The swarm shall need minimal operator intervention. The swarm shall remain under meaningful human command.
Those are not separate requirements. They are opposite ends of the same dial, and the physics has already decided which way it turns. Every gain in resilience is a subtraction from you.
Here's the part I can't make funny. Nobody in this story is being reckless. Nobody is lying. The engineers are not villains. Somebody put the word meaningful into that sentence on purpose and meant it. The likeliest reason the entry bar sits at 4 aircraft is that these people are honest enough not to certify a machine they have not yet watched work.
But the pressure is not coming from them. It is coming off the sky over Ukraine, where the radio is being taken away 1 month at a time, and where every unit still alive is a unit that learned to need the radio less.
Nobody is choosing autonomy. We are being jammed into it. And the tell is already sitting in the language. When those 4 drones flew over that Florida field in January, the write-ups called it a swarm. It was not one, but the word arrived before the thing did, and words that arrive early do a specific job. They make the arrival feel like it already happened, and nothing that has already happened needs anybody's permission. The second crucible finished 5 weeks ago. As of today, nothing detailed has come out about what those 25 companies actually managed on that field in Florida. Maybe it was remarkable. Maybe somebody finally flew a real one out there in the pine scrub, and the number was enormous, and the whole argument moves. When that gets published, I will say so on this channel. But be honest with yourself, Terrans. Next time a headline says swarm, you are going to picture the sky going black, because that image was installed in you by people with a rendering budget and no obligation to be right. Count the drones in the video. There is always a video. And on the day the number finally does get big, it will not be because somebody built a better radio. It will be because they built something that stopped needing one, which means the first real swarm will not announce itself the way those 4 did. There will be no press release with the word in it, nothing to announce. There will just be a field, somewhere, very quiet, and nothing left to jam. The inflatable tanks were the only honest thing on that range. They looked exactly as dangerous as they actually were.
Next time, the weapon that is legal, precisely because nobody can prove it, was ever fired.